One of the journal prompts for this week, it asks the question, what are you clinging to out of comfort and familiarity?
Hi, friend. I'm Susan Beth, and you are listening to the She Is podcast, where we talk about living life intentionally and about trusting that the desires you have deep within you are there for a reason. I believe that the creator of the universe put those desires within you and that they are pathways to your purpose. My desire is that this would be a space that encourages you to lean in and to hear the whispers of the divine, and that you would be reminded of things that I honestly believe you already know. That you, my friend, are here for a reason. So if you're here for more conversations in that kind of space, welcome. Let's go.
Happy Sunday or happy new week whenever you happen to be listening to this episode. But this week we are talking about letting things fall away. And even though change is oftentimes needed and a necessary part of life, it isn't always an easy process. You know, there is a comfort that we experience with the familiar. We fight to hang on to our life choices and circumstances, even when the season has run its course, because it's what we know. And I think many of us can relate to a relationship ending that we knew needed to end, and yet we find ourselves reaching back out because we are now in that unfamiliar space of in between, and it can feel uncomfortable. And the crazy thing is that we felt discomfort in the relationship, and that's why it ended. But we were comfortable with that discomfort. And the in-between space of not knowing what's next, it can cause us to reach back and to try and hang on to something that doesn't belong in our future season. One of the journal prompts for this week, it asks the question, what are you clinging to out of comfort and familiarity? I want to invite you to take some time to think about that question and to pray about it and ask God to bring to your mind anything that you might be holding on to that is no longer meant for you. Now, this doesn't mean that what is no longer meant for you is something bad. It could be something that has brought you great joy, but for whatever reason, the season has run its course and it's keeping you from having room for what's next. Oftentimes, we can equate letting go or something no longer being part of our life as a negative thing. And that's just not always the case. But when we frame it that way in our mind, then it causes us to feel resistance because our feelings around letting go are negative. And so we are viewing and feeling that as a loss. So what if we intentionally have a reframe and we step into the belief that change is part of the natural cycle of life? And when things naturally fall away, it opens up space, not only physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. So just like the clutter around our house or in our vehicles, it drains us even when we are unaware that it is, because our senses are taking it in every time we see all of the stuff taking up space all around us. So just as we can take some time and clear some of that up in our physical spaces and then feel lighter, it's the same way in all of the other areas of our life. Everything we take in is taking up space in our lives. I want to say that again. Everything that we take in is taking up space in our lives, and it is affecting how we live. We are being weighed down by things that we are not called to carry. So take some time to ask yourself the question, what am I clinging to out of comfort and familiarity? Then, I want you to keep your heart and your mind open and expect the Spirit of God to speak to you. The season of autumn is a powerful reminder that there is beauty in letting things fall away. Trusting that the letting go, it opens up our hearts and our hands for new future growth. I love you guys, and I'm praying you have a great week.
Hey, you. Thanks for listening. And if you would like to connect more, head over to SusanBeth.com and sign up, and you will be one of the first to find out about anything new. Plus, there's a special free download available just to say thanks. If something in this episode did speak to you, would you do me a favor and share it with a friend that you think it might resonate with as well? And until next time, keep showing up in the world just as God purposed you to do, because you being you is exactly what we all need.
A production of Amplify Life Media.